People, welcome back. Happy 4th of July if you celebrate it. I'm Carlo, and today's video is simple. Just wanted to go over a few resources that has helped me become a better filmmaker, cinematographer, whether that's books that I read, some magazines that I read, some podcasts that I listen to, and I'll also go over a course that I bought as well that's really helped me hone in my skills as a cinematographer. So currently my favorite resource is the American Cinematographer magazine right here. I read this about 20-30 minutes every morning with my coffee. I just find it's a great way to kind of get my day started. It's filled with great information on current events in the industry, gear updates, what's new in the industry, as well as interviews and behind the scenes of current films and TV shows. So it's really great if you're watching a show and it's included in this magazine. You get to really dig a little bit deeper into that show and understand it a little bit more, as well as some of the shows I've never seen before that I've now become interested in just because of reading about it, and some of the interviews with the cinematographers on the show, just to show what kind of went into making the show or film. So I do recommend this magazine a lot. I pay a monthly subscription. I forget how much it is, to be honest, but it's not that much. But it's got some great interviews with some really amazing people like Bradford Young or Roger Deakins. So I find this to be a really amazing resource. This book right here I have, Painting with Light by John Alton, is another great resource that I find to be super helpful for me. I'm in the beginning stages of this book and I'm reading it pretty much every single day, but so far things I've learned is just all the different departments on a film set, all the different types of flags, scrims, diffusions, all the different lighting setups. I'm really excited to dig a little bit deeper into this book, but it really gives a in-depth description of what each element, what each material does, like diffusion, what each flags or scrim does to the light. So I really do recommend this book as well if you want to dig a little bit deeper as far as knowing your lighting setups. The second book that I recommend that is super awesome is the Master Shots Volume 3 by Christopher Kenworthy. This book is a great reference for anyone who needs some inspiration on different camera angles, some different camera movements, how to shoot a conversation piece, how to shoot a wide piece, how to shoot still. There's just tons of examples here, and the author uses plenty of examples from very well-known films. He uses some stills as well as a dialogue on the left side of the page here, just to show the relationship here. So you can see the stills right here, the dialogue, and he also on some of the different shots he'll give like a virtual diagram of exactly where the camera is placed in relationship to the actor or actresses. So I find that this is a great resource if I'm trying to write a shot list for a film and I'm running out of ideas, or I just need to come up with a new idea. I'll just take a look at this book, and usually it'll spark something in my brain to create something. So moving into the podcast section, I'm in my car a lot. I'm always traveling for work, so I have a bunch of great podcasts that I listen to pretty much on rotation on a daily basis. The first podcast I'm going to mention is the Indie Film Hustle podcast by Alex Ferrari. It's a very entrepreneurial style video, pretty much just having him explain how to make money, how to not get screwed by the bigger corporations, how to do things yourself like DIY filmmaking. Along with that is just a lot of conversation pieces with directors, producers, and cinematographers and writers. So I recommend this podcast as well. So the second podcast I'm recommending is called the Cinematography Podcast, and this one is obviously solely about cinematography. It's a big conversation piece. It's about a 45-minute or so podcast between the host and the cinematographer, whether it's just the cinematographer or sometimes the director and cinematographer are included in the podcast as well. But they pretty much just dig deep and go in depth about how they make the certain film that they're discussing, or their career. All those different aspects I find to be a great resource as well into learning the industry a little bit more. Third podcast I'm going to recommend is called the Team Deakins Podcast. It's by Roger and James Deakins, the husband and wife combo. This one is a great resource. I love Roger Deakins. I think he's one of my favorite cinematographers, so anything that he pretty much releases I'm interested in. And this podcast is nothing short of that. He brings in a lot of great guests, whether it's other cinematographers, producers, directors, animation, just a boatload of different departments in the film industry. And you can get a really great insight on how they work together. Whether it's the animation and the cinematographers, their relationship together is something I didn't know about before. But after listening to this podcast, I have a better understanding of that relationship. So the fourth podcast that I listen to on a daily basis is the Indie Mogul podcast. I like this one a lot, especially when the guests are cinematographers, because it is a two-part series. The first part is the actual podcast you could listen to in your car, walking, running, wherever you're going. And then the second part is on YouTube, and it's an actual visual breakdown of the lighting and camera setups that they discussed on the podcast about the current show, which I find to be a great resource because I'm a visual learner. So for me to be able to kind of sit down and watch this tutorial is a great resource for me as well. And the last podcast that I listen to on a daily basis is called the Go Creative Show. And it's just another really great dialogue and conversation piece between filmmakers, directors, producers, actors, pretty much everyone in the industry, just talking about their career, their journey, their path, what they do on a basis. So it's just another great resource to kind of recycle in throughout the other podcasts. One of my favorite resources is a course that I purchased. It's by a group called the Buff Nerds. I'm sure you've heard of them on YouTube and Instagram. It's by Jacob Owens and Thomas Tauder. I don't know how to say his last name, but they're both absolutely phenomenal filmmakers, cinematographers, and entrepreneurs as well. And this course is called Learn Cinematography. And it's pretty much a massive course that goes over every different aspect of cinematography, from the camera breakdown, lighting breakdown, all the different types of diffusion, different types of lighting, how to get different types of shadows, different interviews, like all of these different breakdowns and instructions to really allow yourself to hone in your skills on becoming a better cinematographer. I think this is a little bit more of an expensive course, but I really recommend this to anyone, because they also add in some great resources at the end, like some free raw BTS of all of the music videos that they shot, so you get to really see the behind the scenes, non-edited really, of what really goes down. So it's just a great resource to learn. And to be honest, if you're a cinematographer or filmmaker, there's no excuse to really stop learning. There's always going to be room for improvement, and I always find that investing in yourself is a great asset. Alright, so these are some of the resources that I find to be super helpful for me on a daily basis. I'm a big believer in self-growth and investing in yourself and your business. And I find that reading these magazines, these books, and investing in these courses and listening to those podcasts really helps me and shapes me into becoming a better filmmaker and cinematographer. Maybe not right now, but the more I read, the more I listen, and the more I absorb all of these different educational pieces, the better off I'll be in the long term, because I'll have a broader knowledge of pretty much everything that goes into the industry. So I'm a big believer in investing in yourself and investing in knowledge for yourself and your business. So thank you very much for watching this. Hopefully you got something out of it. Please hit the like button, subscribe, comment below, let me know what you think. If you also have resources that you listen to or read on a daily basis, please let me know, because I'd love to check those out as well. But until next time, thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye.